no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay.
Told boys, I'm a bit rusty. Forgot to bring us back in. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? It is your boy Marley Betts, and this is Brothers and Bets. It's been a minute, but your boy back in the spot. Got my homeboy Picks from Dave joining us in. What's up, Dave?
Cheers.
Also, new friend of the channel, the homie Tim Earl from Earl Sports Bets. First time on Brothers and Bets. I've been doing shows with him on Picks from Dave. Welcome to the podcast, my brother. How you doing today?
Doing good.
All right.
Nick's the pretty one.
Yeah. All right. They're twins for people that don't know out there. He has a twin, identical, really good capper, does all sports. Y'all go check him out. Follow him at Earl Sports Bets. Anybody that's watching this later. We've been inconsistent, to say the least, here at Brothers and Bets over the last couple of weeks. But I'm back. Had a lot of stuff I had to take care of in my personal life. Also went to go win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Went to go win a Super Bowl with my little league guys. Got my little bling on a little bit. And it's funny, Dave, because baseball season was fucking consistent, dude. I was on it. We were here, and football is like my best sport, and it just seemed like I got super fucking busy during football season.
Yeah.
And couldn't make the commitment I wanted. But bowl season's here. Let's jump right into it. We have about 5 games we're gonna cap or so. About 5 games. First game we're gonna start out with is obviously tomorrow's game. Troy versus UT. The line for that game, give me a second. I'm pulling up all my notes and whatnot. Computer's working a little slow on me. But the line for that game is UTSA -1. The total for the game is 50. Make sure anything hasn't changed. 57 is last I saw it, but I'm pulling up the lines right now just to make sure I'm current. And we're still sitting at 57. Right? Yeah. Still sitting at 57. I'm going to read a couple of actual factuals, and then we're going to run off what we think here. Let's start with UTSA. And get to it. They're 5-1 straight up in the last 5-1 ATS in their last 6 games. This is Troy. 5-1 ATS in their last 6 games. 10-0 straight up in their last 10 games. 8-3 straight up in the last 11 games against an opponent from Conference USA. 6-0 in their last 6 games played in the month of December. 6-3 straight up in the last 9 games on a Friday. 5-0 in their last 5 games when playing as the underdog. UTSA 4-1 ATS in their last 5 games. 10-0 straight up in the last 10. 4-1 straight up in the last 5 games against an opponent from the Sun Belt. 5-0 straight up in the last 5 games when played on their Friday games. 4-2 straight up ATS in their last 6 games when playing as the favorite. UTSA. If anybody been following me, I've been on these guys for like 2 years. And last year was an amazing year for us. Dave, Troy versus UTSA. Lines at 1, totals at 57. Do you have a play on this game, sir?
I don't, but I think I should. Here's the deal. I'm echoing. This game, this line has gone through 0 twice, back forth. Last night, Troy was the favorite. And I can kind of see why, because you have 2 teams that ended the year on 10-game winning streaks. UTSA went through their conference undefeated. And you've got UTSA, which is a great offense, versus Troy, which has been a good defense. The reason why I lean UTSA, and by the way, UTSA came out of nowhere last year. They're a relevant team. They were what I'd call maybe a basketball team, or maybe that's where I paid more attention to them. But they've been bet on for sure. I think, and I said this last night, when you look at a team, a good defense versus a good offense, you have to look at how much better UTSA's offense is in Troy and how much better Troy's defense is in UTSA, and look at the gap. And I think the gap between the offenses with UTSA being better is bigger than the gap between the defenses with Troy being better. The scary thing is this line's going back and forth. And when that happens, that means the books don't know. So I don't know where my edge is. I test is UTSA. I haven't gotten to the window yet. I much rather like the other game tomorrow. I lean UTSA. Let's just say that.
All right. Tim, what do you got on this one, if anything at all?
Nick. It's Nick.
Oh, my God. I'm so sorry. Why you didn't say that the first time I said Tim, or did you?
I have said it a couple of times.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro. My bad. Nick.
Yeah.
My bad. Nick, what do you got on this thing, if anything?
Yeah, I was going to mention I was surprised to see when you put up the odds here that UTSA is the favorite again. Because this opened up as UTSA the favorite. Troy went to the favorite. Now it's back to UTSA as the favorite. I want nothing to do with the side in this game. I think that when we look at it with these bowl games, generally speaking, one way I like to look at sides a little bit is especially when it's two group of 5 schools, you try to think of which is the stronger conference that these teams had to go through. I think the Sun Belt has more talented teams than the Conference USA. I think Conference USA is probably the bottom, if not MAC is the bottom when it comes to group of 5 conferences. And Sun Belt's probably middle of the pack. I think that American and Mountain West are the top 2 for group of 5. So got kind of 2 lower power group of 5 conferences we're talking about here at Conference USA and Sun Belt. I looked more towards the total in this one here. I think both teams are going to be able to put up points. Troy started getting their offense together the last couple of weeks, and UTSA is no stranger to putting up points. I think that we'll definitely be able to see them score some points in this game. I got it at 56. I took the over in this game. If I had to make a play on the side, it's Troy, just from, I believe, the strength of schedule aspect of it. I think this game should be around a pick 'em, so I'm not surprised the line's bounced. Surprised it's crossed through 0 multiple times. But I do like the over 56 in this spot because I think these offenses will be able to score some points. And even though Troy has one of the better defenses, some of the offenses they face were not as good as UTSA here. Fumble.
Yep. Fumble.
I like it. That's not good. That's
Not good for you.
Not good for the Seahawks. Good for the
Not
Niners.
good for the Seahawks. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right. So,
like we do with all our shows, we're distracted by our bets. That's the way it goes.
We're definitely distracted. I got it right here. So anytime you guys see me glancing over this way, I'm looking at the game and the score.
Same with me.
You know, I don't know about, I do know about your channel, but on my channel, we're free. We kick it. It's not set up protocol. Everybody's not a robot. So feel free. God damn it. Oh, that's the fumble you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
Jeez, I like a play ahead of me. Oh my God.
Wow, the Kings just tied the game 2-2. Damn. And the Ducks just took
Seattle again. All right. I agree with you, Nick. I like the over as well. I know Troy's a defensive team, is what you guys mentioned earlier, but this UTSA offense is and has been scoring in bunches. They average 38.7 points. Defense isn't that good, but they're total shy of 500. They're at 300 yards passing. I know this Troy's defense is good, but I don't think they'll be able to stop. Is it Frank Harris? I know his last name's Harris. I think it's Frank Harris, the quarterback for UTSA.
Yes, for coming back for his 7th year next year.
He's what?
He's coming back for his 7th year next year.
How can you do that? COVID. He's part of that.
COVID, and then you get an extra year of eligibility for some weird second year red shirt shit. Yeah. If you did he transfer?
No, I don't think so.
If you transfer, you get an extra year. I don't know. Yeah, but he's an old man.
I'm not sure. I mean, it's possible that he could have, but I don't. I know he's been there for the last. I've been following him for 3 years, so I know he's been there for 2 years. This will be the 3rd year. I know he's been there since I've watched him, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not sure if he transferred or not. But I am sure that he's 6th in the country with passing yards at 3,865, tied for 9th in the country at 31 touchdowns, and his QBR is at 80, which is good for 13th in the country. So, and I agree with Nick. The strength of schedule in the conference, yeah, it's not. He doesn't get to play the best competition, but at the same time, UTSA is a fairly new football program. Like 5 years, I'm not sure exactly when they came in, but they haven't been in that long. So he's part of the class that finally turned the corner and built this up. I didn't know he was coming back again. I was gonna say like he's gonna sell off into the sunset with a bowl win for UTSA, but just got some late information that he's coming back. However, I like the total at the over 57. I still like it because UTSA's defense is not really, let's say, good. And we did see Troy put up like 48 points on Coastal just last week, so they can score. I think we'll get in the 30s from both teams. We probably get up to 60, but I do think UTSA walks away with the victory here, just because I think their offense is actually really, really good. I know Troy has a defense, but Coastal did put up close to 30 points without their quarterback, McCall, and that kind of does worry me a little bit. And I'm not sure if one of those touchdowns was in garbage time because I didn't watch the game, but I think this UTSA team is really good. I've been watching them here for a while. I like UTSA on the money line. That'll be my official play. And with that said, we can jump on to the next game.
Are we doing official plays?
Yeah. I mean, I'm writing them down.
Okay. I don't know.
It's the same thing we've always done.
Okay.
But it's bowl season, so it's not like after bowl season, I'm going to erase them and they'll be gone. But if you guys do another show with me next week, then definitely I'll have that record posted.
Well, I was asking because I don't know if Nick had an official play. I don't have an official play on this game, but he
over 56.
Over, right?
Okay.
Over, yeah.
And I'm gonna put at 56 because that's what you. Okay, well, let me ask you this: do you recommend the 57, even though you got it at 56?
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Okay, cool. So I'll put that down. UTSA over 56, and let's keep it moving. The next game on today's docket is, let's do this. Oh man, it feels like it's been so long. Louisville versus Cincinnati. I put Cincy. Louisville versus Cincinnati. That line is currently at Cincy +2. The total is at 40. And let's read a couple actual factuals for both teams real quick. We will start with Cincy. They are 1-6 ATS in the last 7 games, 9-2 straight up in the last 11 games, 4-2 straight up ATS in the last 6 games against Louisville, but 5-11 in their last 16 games against Louisville. 2-4 ATS in their last 6 games against an opponent from the ACC. 2-5 ATS in their last 7 games when played in the month of December. The totals have gone under in 6 of their last 8 games, under in 5 of the last 5 games when played on a Saturday, and under in 7 of the last 8 games when played on the road. So let's look at Louisville, whom had a much better season than I thought they would at the beginning of the year. They are 5-2 ATS in their last 7 games, 5-2 straight up in their last 7 games, 8-2 straight up in the last 10 games against an opponent from the ACC conference. Totals gone under in 5 of their last 6 games and under in 4 of the last 5 games when playing on a Saturday. Nick, let's start with you over here. We talked about this game a little bit before we got on camera. Louisville, Cincy, +2, totals at 40. What you got for me?
This game is a clusterfuck. Yeah, looking at it here, that's the best way to describe this one. Luke Fickle is out. Kerry Crooms will be there. Will remain under staff with Scott Satterfield, who will be the interim coach for this game. They'll be without Leonard Taylor, a tight end, Josh Wiley, a tight end, Trey Tucker, a receiver. That all won't prepare, and then center Jake Renfro is entering the portal. On the other side, Louisville, They lost their head coach, Scott Satterfield, who's going to Cincinnati. Deion Branch will be the interim coach for this game. Malik Cunningham will be out, and their backup's supposed to start. He had 866 passing yards this season, so he did get a little bit of time. They will be Kytrell Clark, who is entering the NFL draft, and he won't play. Running back Tryon Edwards and receiver Tyler Hudson are also not expected to play in this ball game. So there's a lot of players not playing in this ball game, which is why this total has gone down from 45 to 40, 39.5 in some spots. And I want Cincinnati a little bit in this game, but more than that, I'm going to wait until the morning of and take this game over the total if I can get 37.5. If it drops 2 more points and I can get a 21-17 game, puts me over the total. That's what I'm kind of looking for in this matchup here. If I don't get the total that low, I will take the Cincinnati Bearcats in this spot here as a slight dog in this game with the backup with Malik Cunningham not playing in this game. I think that'll be definitely a huge impact for Louisville in this game. So I'm looking towards Cincinnati in this game, and if I can get the total low enough here, I will go over the over if I can get 37.5 right now.
Gotcha. Dave, what you got for me, if anything?
Well, I still have stuff even after all of that because this game is a mess, but we didn't mention what this game is called. It's called the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. It sounds like a menu item at a sushi restaurant or something, some poke bowl. But and we found out Wasabi's some sort of company. Yeah, apparently it's an American company. But anyways, yeah. Here's the deal. So I indexed all of these games, and that doesn't matter because there's going to be so many players out and so many different things happening. But in this game, it kind of tells me something. I have Louisville as 1.5 point favorites. The thing is when we're talking about who's out for Cincinnati and who's out for Louisville, Louisville's missing their guys. The only Malik Cunningham, who I'm down on. I don't like him. I wasn't high on Louisville like some of our friends were. I have very little respect for him. Can't believe he's going in the draft. He might not even get drafted. But anyway, he their second best running back. Their starting running back, Tyon Evans, is out, and that wide receiver that's out, that's their leading wide receiver. So all of their dudes are gone. And if you're telling me that Cincinnati's there's a 3.5 point swing, I'd say those 3 players plus this coaching mashup is worth more than 3 points. So there's some value on Cincinnati, and I'm going to make an official play. I'm on Cincinnati. Probably money. I'm not going to say money line. I'm going to take the 2 points, but I think they win this game.
Yeah, Dave, I'm kind of right there with you now that I didn't know all those people were out in this game.
Yeah.
I knew Malik wasn't playing. I knew the receiver wasn't playing.
The running back's playing. They're a running team too. So
that kind of threw me. Believe it or not, on our last show, Coach said this. Our dumbasses, when Cincy played Tulane and we first got the news that the quarterback was out, we actually talked about it, did the research, looked up the backup quarterback, and still, for some reason, it blows my mind. We took Cincinnati instead of taking Tulane. Dumbest bet of my life. But now he has multiple weeks to prepare. There is no Malik Cunningham. This kid was Mr. Ohio coming out of school. He is very talented, and he's mobile. And with everybody missing, I don't think on either side, nobody knows what to expect. Well, maybe not Fickle, but the Cincy's coach that's going to Louisville, I guess he would know, but he's not coaching in this game.
The other way around, Louisville's going to Cincinnati, but
Louisville's coach is going to –
you're right. Yeah. Neither of these coaches will be there. There'll be interim coaches. You know.
So I don't know. I guess that doesn't favor anybody, but I wanted to ask you guys this. You're a 4 to 5 star recruit coming out of high school. You got 2 offers. Cincy, Louisville. Where are you going?
Now?
Right now, today.
I'm going to see, and you know who's coming in for Louisville? You didn't say this. Jeff Brom from Purdue. So it depends on what type of player I am. If I'm a defensive player, I'm going to Cincinnati. If I'm an offensive player, I'm going to Louisville because Jeff Brom is a air it out type of guy. So that's my answer.
Nick.
What was the question again? Sorry. If I'm a
You're good, bro. You're good. If you are a 4-star, excuse me, you are a 4-star athlete, you got 2 offers coming out for football, coming out of high school. You got Louisville, you got Cincinnati. Where are you going?
Cincinnati.
That's my call.
I think they're the better program right now. Plus, I mean, the ACC is not great. And looking at it, I mean, Cincinnati's heading to the Big 12. So they're going to a major conference now as well. So you're getting a team that's just heading into a new conference as well. So I would probably pick Cincinnati, but maybe that's a little bit of my American conference bias as well.
You know what the answer is? You try to walk on to USC or Ohio State or somewhere.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Try to walk around. So I agree with you, and I asked that question because I wanted to say which program do we think, or do y'all think, including myself, has the better athletes? And I'd say recently, Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati, with their success that they've had over the last 3 to 5 years, we'll say, I think they've had more success. I'm kind of with you, Dave. I'm not as down on Malik Cunningham as probably you are, but I'm definitely nowhere near as high as everybody else is.
Yeah.
I mean, his athletic ability, A+. Obviously, he can run it, but his throwing ability, I don't want to say his throwing ability. I want to say his ability to read a defense doesn't really do anything for me personally. But with that being said, I do like the athletes that they've had left over from that defense that actually got to the playoffs last year. Along with the quarterback, he's not bad. I just think Tulane has a tough defense, and I think he kind of got thrown into a spot versus having time to actually prepare for the offense that he's going to play. So I'm going to take Cincy plus the 2, but I do agree with you guys. This game is a clusterfuck. I don't recommend, of all the games that you do have, there are better options out there for anybody that's, we're just breaking this game. I'm just breaking this game down because it's on the schedule. But I can't say I'm
nice little 11:30 action.
Right. Nice little early action before the days get started. But I do like Cincy plus the 2 points. It's too much going on missing at Louisville right now. Not just Malik Cunningham aside. So there's no way I can back those guys in this game right here. And with that said, let's keep it on going. We are going to travel. I don't know where we're traveling to because I don't know where the game is quite at yet. But
I have them all listed, so I'll let you know. I have them all written down. So
cool. Because we're going Southern Miss SMU, not Southern Miss, Southern Methodist, excuse me. Southern Miss. SMU versus BYU, the Mormons. SMU is -4. The total is at 6, not 6.5. I don't know why I said that. Total is at 64. And let's look at a couple of actual factuals, as I like to call them. SMU, they're 4-2 ATS in their last 6 games, 4-1 straight up in the last 5 games, but 0-6 straight up in their last 6 games against an opponent in the independent conference. Total has gone under in 6 of SMU's last 8 games played in the month of December. It's also gone under in 5 of SMU's last 6 games when played on a Saturday on the road. They're 4-1 ATS in the last 5 games, and they're 7-0 straight up in the last 7 games when playing as the favorite. Let's look at BYU. They're 2-8 ATS in their last 10 games, 12-6 straight up in the last 18. 5-1 straight up in the last 6 games against an opponent from the AAC, excuse me. 1-4 ATS in the last 5 games played in the month of December. 16-2 in their last 18 games. Well, they're not playing at home, but when playing at home. Total is going over in 4 of their last 5 games, and also over in 6 of the last 9 when playing as an underdog. Picks from Dave. I should have went over the injury report. I don't know why I've been skipping that for some strange reason. Hold on, Dave. Injury report. What I got right here is receiver by Bo Corliss. He's out indefinitely with a shoulder. We got the running back Trey Siggers. He's questionable. We also have Chase Cromartie. He's transferring. And then we have Rashee Rice, the receiver. Cromartie is the safety, transferring. And we also have Trevion Sneed, who is also transferring. BYU, oh my God, they got a whole bunch of fucking Jesus, oh my God, Jesus Christ.
They're a mess.
Keenan Peely, linebacker, he's out. Chaz Ayu, questionable, linebacker. Kayota, the running back, he is out, undisclosed. LeChance, offensive lineman, he's out, undisclosed. Is Hall the starter for BYU? He is the starter, right?
He's not playing.
He's doubtful, undisclosed. Yep. Wow. Gunnar Romney, receiver, questionable. Max Tolley, linebacker, out. Puku Nakua, questionable receiver. Jesus Christ. Jackson McKenzie is out indefinitely. Mason Fakua, quarterback. That's the backup quarterback. Oh my God, the backup quarterback is questionable. Lane Lunt, he's been out. Cody Epps, he's been out. And the quarterback that's expected to start is Cade Finnegan. And Josh Larson, he's been out, defensive lineman. Oh, wow. So, picks from Dave, we'll start with you. You got SMU taking on, I don't know if that's BYU, some other team, because that's not the team that they started with in the season, because everybody's
the high school down the street. This line, this is crazy on both sides. It opened at BYU minus, what was that?
I'm trying to figure out why is the line only 4.
Okay, so it opened at BYU minus 1.5, and then all these injuries happened, I guess, or whatever. It went to 5.5, and it's back down SMU 3.5. Jaron Hall, I didn't know was doubtful. He was listed as questionable. They moved him to doubtful. That's why the line is holding where it's at. The total opened at 73. It's down to 64 now. It's crazy. Here's the thing. I capped this game before everything. These are numbers from before everything. I didn't cap this game then, because if I did, I would have taken SMU money line for plus money. But my numbers are from 2 or 3 weeks ago. But either way, SMU and BYU healthy at the end of the season, SMU would have been a 3.5-point favorite on a neutral field. That's what I have. So the line's right. But here's the deal. Here's a stat, and I'm on SMU, and I'll lay 3.5 is what I can get. Is the better line, but I'd lay 4 too. And it's BYU is 1-5 when allowing 27 points or more, and SMU has scored 27 points or more every game except for 2. So, and that's just winning the game. But with this many people out, I don't have a problem. I mean, BYU already had, in their mind, I think SMU had a season that's about where they should be. BYU had a very disappointing season, in my opinion, starting from that Baylor game. Yeah. Which all of us were on Baylor. Yeah. So I have no problem laying 3.5 or 4 points. I mean, if we're doing it for the show, I want the better odds, but I'm on SMU.
Yeah, no, if there's 3.5 out there, I'll give you 3.5.
Yeah.
That's
make it official.
The line that I have. But if you're telling me it's one out there, then we'll take
it. It's on BetMGM and FanDuel. But BetMGM's minus 110, so we'll take that.
Gotcha. Nick.
Yeah, unfortunately, I only have one book that I have access to because my state's not legal. So I have 4.5 as my line, and here's the way I was looking at it. This line was not available to me when we did the show the other night with Dave and my brother, and I said as long as it was lower than a touchdown, I'm taking SMU. So I laid 4.5 with SMU here. I just bet that now, noticing that the line was available. This is one of those games where you're missing your not only your top guy, but I believe their backup goaltender. The backup.
The backup's not playing either.
Not playing either. So you're down to your third string quarterback, and I think this is a game where they're going to win by double digits. SMU. This is a blowout game. I don't want anything to do with the total because I can see BYU not contributing to an over. If I were to play an over in this one, if you like the over in this game, just take SMU's team total over because they're probably going to drop 35 to 40 on them. Looking at this game, I laid 4.5 with SMU, and I'll probably maybe grab a little bit of SMU team total.
All right. I'm pretty much right there with you guys. I was one of those guys that initially the first look on this game, I was all over the over here. BYU is averaging 35 points per game. I think SMU is averaging around 36 or 37. They're both in the 30s. But I think the team total, and I'm going to pull up my lines right here. I don't know because I didn't have it earlier. I think SMU's team total is definitely the way to go. Man, I want to turn this fucking Seattle game off. It's stupid of me, just stupid that. But I do like, unlike Dave though. Dave, I think maybe it might have been Nick. I'm not sure. I'll take a touchdown because I don't think this game is going to be competitive at all. Did you have your third string quarterback starting a bowl game? I know he'll have extra time to prepare, but I mean, Jesus Christ, he's the third string quarterback for a freaking reason. It's not because he's that good. So, and along with all the host of other injuries that they have, I understand it's a big leap in BYU's not in a conference. They're independent, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I know they normally play a tougher schedule than SMU would play overall, but I'm not. It's too many injuries, too many people not playing, and again, even without all the other injuries, I can't get past. There's no way I can put my money, my hard-earned money, on a third string quarterback. I didn't look deep into it, but I think this is probably his first start. And actually, I haven't got to the window with this, but I'm going to for sure. SMU first half, you're probably going to catch a -2 or maybe even a 3 because
it's not bad.
This guy, down on him. He's never played in this type of stage before. Even if he plays well, I think it won't be till the second half until it at least gets the jitters out. This guy might throw up before he come out there, and he's so nervous. And like Nick said, this SMU offense is legit. They're going to score points. I love the team total. Is that a touchdown? Did you just do it?
Kittle's second touchdown. Yards after catch, this guy is crazy.
Kittle's is fucking amazing. Yards after catch, he might be the best tight end.
Their O-line is protecting him. Purdy looks good, but his O-line's giving him time. I
don't think Purdy's bad. I mean, I watched him at Iowa State when they were good. He's
got good decision making, and he's checking down to the right guys. But his arm strength is weak. He's not a slinger.
Let's keep this game under 43.5 then.
There's no way. I mean, of course he could have made it.
Kittle's like, yoink. I love that. I love that fucking corn-fed Iowa boy.
I think what I did was I so focused on the injuries and who's not playing that I didn't really think about how good San Francisco's defense is. I mean, I knew we all know it's good, right? We all know it's top tier.
Number one.
Damn.
Oh, I forgot I have Kittle on my
fantasy team. The thing about this game is that Seattle has only faced 3 defenses in the top 15. All the rest have been below average defenses, and this is what they did. Tampa Bay lose on a neutral site. Carolina lose at home. Denver win by 1 point at home. They could have been 0-3 against good defenses, and now you're going up against the best defense in football? No, thank you.
Right, and I actually watched the crazy thing is I watched your breakdown before I made my.
And their offense, 49ers have a higher scoring offense than Minnesota and the Chargers and Miami. It's crazy. I mean,
but see,
I have the 49ers to win the Super Bowl, so let's run the table here, 49ers.
I'd love it.
You know the crazy thing about that is once they made the McCaffrey trade, I didn't pick them to win a Super Bowl. I'm not going to even brag.
I didn't either. I picked them after last week. I liked them heading into the Tampa Bay game. I was thinking, okay, maybe I'm going to make moves on futures with them. And then they blew out Tampa Bay like that. I'm like, this defense is legit. This team is legit. And who the hell is going to stop them in the NFC? The Eagles? No.
Maybe.
The Eagles are not going to match up against the 49ers. I don't think so.
Maybe. That was my thing. That's my thing. So when they made the McCaffrey trade, I told Coach, who's obviously my co-host and my partner in crime, that I told some other people too. I'm not sure who, but I told him it's a 2-man race in the NFC. 3 if you want to count Dallas, but I think if Dallas matches up against San Francisco, which they probably will in the second round if they get past the first round, that they won't be. San Francisco just has their number. I think
it'll be an under. Yeah.
Definitely be an underplay. But I think Shanahan will out-coach McCarthy.
Oh, yeah.
But even though we're on this game, though, I want to keep talking about it. I do like the Eagles. Man, I think that'll be a fucking fantastic. It probably won't be a great viewing game for the viewers, for the general public, because they want to see offense and touchdowns. And I'm kind of I'm not that kind of football guy. I want to see a good game, defense and offense. I don't want to see everybody just scoring touchdowns. It kind of pisses me off when it's everybody just fucking scoring touchdowns like it's college. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the fucking beat? So, but man, what Philly is doing offensively, on top of the moves they made with getting Sue, and I can't think of the other D lineman that they picked up, but it was Sue and somebody else that they got in the interior of their defense to help stop the run, because they've been terrible against the run. That's going to be the question. Can San Fran run the ball against the Eagles? And also, can Jalen Hurts score enough points on that defense to win the game? But I think the interesting thing is that can San Fran score enough to get to the Seahawks? Because I heard you say, they blew out. I heard you say they're average on offense, but I think those numbers are a bit skewed. One is because you're not going to have Jimmy Garoppolo anymore, even though Purdy's been playing well, right?
Yep.
And also, Deebo Samuels is hurt.
Well, here's why I didn't even add this to the video. I know we're way off the rails, but since you brought it up,
cool. Let's just talk.
I looked at where the distribution. So I looked at Deebo and I looked at where the distribution of touchdowns have been the past 5 games. He only has 2 touchdowns. They're distributing touchdowns to everyone. And here's the deal: Kittle hasn't been as good. He has 2 touchdowns tonight. If Kittle gets going, watch out. Watch out.
Picks tonight to get 2 touchdowns, because you're right, he hasn't been good. But I think the reason he hasn't been good is because, remember, he missed a bunch of games early. He just got back like 3 or 4 games ago. So
but they're not getting him the ball. What happens is your tight end. You should look, and this is, by the way, sports bettors, look at this. When a second and third string quarterback comes in, start looking at tight end props, because that's their check down, that's their mid range guy. That's what you should do.
What's the old saying? The tight end is the quarterback's best friend.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then when you, like you said, you got Kerry Kittles, who's, I don't say he's the best tight end in the league, but I definitely say yards after catch, he is number 1.
He's by far number 1. He's top 5. It used to be Kelsey and him. Niners just intercepted it. It used to be Kelsey and him. Pick 6.
Oh, wow.
There's a flag, though.
This under's dead.
Just the flag.
And see, I wanted the under at 42 and a half. That was going to be my original play, 42 and a half, the under. Well, I saw it at 43, then it dropped to 42 and a half, and I kind of backed off because I wanted the under in the Tampa game, even though I didn't take it. But there was no way I was thinking like, oh, yeah, Purdy's going to score 35 fucking points against even though Tampa, Tampa has had a pretty decent defense all season.
They have a really good defense. That's their only they have a good defense, but the problem is they can't score, and we're seeing the end of Tom Brady. I think
that was roughing the passer.
Well, you know how that goes this year. Don't get me fucking started on that.
I'll take it. You know what? My penalty is over, so I just hope you guys.
I heard that penalty, that flag just got a sponsor. Charmin sponsored that call there
because it's shitty.
It was ultra soft.
That's how you use that? That's funny. I've never heard that before.
Yes, that flag sponsored Charmin ultra soft.
I tell my kids that they're like my football kids. When I say my kids, I'm talking about my football kids. I call them. I'll say some shit like, "Man, that's that you playing like you're sponsored by Charmin." They're like, "What the hell? What is that, coach?" You're soft, son. You're soft. That's what it is. That shit was soft. But yeah, I didn't even see.
Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely not roughing the passer. That was clean.
Yeah.
And another penalty against San Fran.
And fucking Bosa's playing like the fucking MVP defensive.
They almost got sacked by 2 guys there. Yeah, this is it. But I want to say one other thing about this game. We didn't say where it is. It's a New Mexico Bowl. This BYU SMU game, and I would think that it's not a Premier Bowl, but BYU knows they had a bad season and all these injuries. I don't think there's going to be any energy on there, even though it is BYU. It's not in Provo. It's not at a big school. I wouldn't care.
They can drown their pain with milk after the game.
I was going to say they'll go drink decaffeinated soda.
Yeah, so
go make about 10 babies.
Yeah. So look, for this game, put me on SMU -3 first half, -4.5 full game, or whatever the best line you can have.
3.5 full game.
First half full game, double up. I got 3 and 4.5.
I'll get you the best odds first half. Hold on.
We'll just take 3.5 if you can find.
That's the best full game. Let me get half first half.
Because I am definitely. I'm actually going to make
2.5 -110 first half.
Perfect.
2.5, 3.5.
2.5, 3.5.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a slaughter game.
That's what I think too.
I'm right with you guys. I'm gonna take that double up as well. Let me get.
And now Seattle's.
Yeah, put me down officially. I'll double up too. I need to go big or go home. We'll do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I just personally feel like even if the third string plays well, ultimately that it will be in the second half. I mean, he's gonna have to get his feet wet, get a feel. But I just personally feel like it's his first game, and he was the third string. He's not the backup; he's the third string quarterback.
It's not even a good program, BYU. So
right, it's not even a top tier program. And then even throughout the year, how many reps did this guy really get? Even with the first team. Let alone with the first team, just how many reps did he get? He definitely was scout team, which means
for sure
running other teams' playbooks. So how familiar is he with the plays? How familiar is he with the receivers that they have left?
Well, the drop off from starter to backup isn't like the NFL where you have a Joe Flacco. It's dropping off a cliff sometimes. Sometimes your second string quarterback has for 2 or 3 years. I mean, Matt Castle, when he was behind Matt Leinart, was listed as the tight end sometimes because there were roster spots, and he was also the backup. And I don't think he started a game in college. And anyway, the point being is that they don't get reps. You're right.
Right. And so, you know what? I'm not going to give this as an official play, but I'm really thinking about it hard. I'm going to take a triple up on this game, guys.
First quarter.
I might trifecta it.
Yeah, I think the better way to trifecta this, rather than going first quarter, first half, full game, is go first half, full game, team total.
Yep.
Team total.
Yep. I don't disagree. I think this is
first half is a half a point at -105.
First quarter. Yeah, that's not bad.
Sorry, first quarter -0.5 at -105.
I mean, I'll take it. All it needs is a field goal. With this offense, all needs a field goal and probably like 2 stops.
I'm good. I'm not one of these. I mean, it's very trendy now. I mean, definitely in baseball, but in football for people and basketball, to be taking first halves and first quarters. I think there's a lot of game. I like to look at the game as a whole and kind of see how it plays out. I do run trends like that Golden State Warriors third quarter thing. I
my God,
won a shit ton of money on that.
Yeah.
But I'm good with 2. I think it's a good bet, but I'm going to stay off that.
Big sack by Bosa.
Yeah. I mean, I won't talk anybody off any SMU play when it comes to this game. Even if the play doesn't hit, I don't think it's a bad play. I don't think there should be any money on BYU. But what I will say is this: you better jump on it now because Saturday, that line's gonna fucking skyrocket. I'm sure. There's just I don't see no way it won't be. He got the sack, so they're not gonna. Let me stop. I don't even want to look at this game anymore. Congratulations, guys. Good bet.
It ain't over yet.
I
got an under to sweat and a team total under to sweat. So.
Oh yeah, you're gonna sweat that under because they already have fucking 21. but it doesn't look like their offense is going to do anything.
You had Seattle's team total under, right?
I have Seattle under 20. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's looking great.
You're good. Yeah. What's the total at? Game total?
It's at 24. I got 43.5.
You're fine. I think you're fine.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
I with unders, I never feel safe until the clock says 0-0-0.
That's the definition of an under.
No. Fucking sweat unders all the way through for some strange reason.
Yeah. It could be a low-scoring game in this game. Overtime and stuff like that. Oh, 21-6 now.
Oh, they kicked the field goal? Okay. My 3.5 is fucking dead, so I'm not even concerned anymore. But let's keep it moving. We got Fresno State taking on Washington State. Dave, where's this game located at?
It is the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl in SoFi. What a great fucking place to play a bowl game.
Jimmy Kimmel has a fucking bowl game?
Yep, Jimmy Kimmel Bowl, LA Bowl, and it's in SoFi Stadium, the nicest stadium in the football stadium in the country.
What is SoFi? Is that the Rams stadium?
That's the LA stadium. They tore down they tore down the old casino and the racetrack. They moved the casino over, and they have a SoFi. It's beautiful, and it's in shitty Inglewood, but they're going to change the city. I mean, it's nice.
That's what's up. All right, so we got Fresno, Washington State taking on Fresno State. The line is at 4. I have a total of 53. It's went up from 52.5. I'm looking at 53. Oh, you know what? Actually, it's a different site. My bad. I'm switching back and forth. So I still do have a 52.5 because I put these lines in literally right before we started the show. So we're going to go with 52.5. Let's look at a couple actual factuals. We'll start with Fresno State. They're 4-1 ATS in their last 5 games. 8-0 straight up in the last 8 games. 1-4 straight up in the last 5 games against an opponent from the Pac-12. 5-2 straight up in their last 7 games when played in December. 5-1 ATS in their last 6 games played on a Saturday, and 14-5-1 in their last 20 games as an underdog. Wazoo, 4-1 ATS in their last 5 games, but 1-6 ATS in the last 7 games when played in the month of December. 5-0 ATS in the last 5 games when playing as a favorite. 6-3 straight up in the last 9 games when playing at home. They're under. The totals have went to the under, and that's 10 in the last 13 have went under. 5 in the last 6 against a Mountain West opponent have went under, and 8 in the last 11 when played on a Saturday, for people that like those kind of numbers, have also went under. I think we started with Nick last time, so we're going to start with Dave right now. Fresno State, Washington State, plus the 4.
You're muted.
You're muted. Muted.
Test.
There you go.
I think this, for the first set of bowl games, is probably going to be the most entertaining game. First of all, if you're either of these teams coming and playing in an NFL stadium, it is the newest NFL stadium, the nicest. I mean, and these packages that these guys are getting.
Vegas is the newest.
Oh, you're right. The Allegiant Stadium.
But nice stadium.
I haven't been there, but I don't know how it could be better than I've driven by the stadium in Vegas many times. I've also been in the stadium. I mean, I don't think it even compares. It's this place is a palace. But if you're already going to be pumped to play this game, and their packages, like I can remember back in college when the football players would get like mini bikes and all that. They're getting iPads, and I mean they're going to feel like celebrities. So they're going to want to play this game. And I know there's been so this is the thing. I'm on the over. And I know that these teams have been under, like Washington State's 9-3 to the under, but I'm looking at totals of 59, 63, 59, 56, 64, 57, totals that are higher than this. Also, they're not playing Cam Ward's on the other side. You have Jay Kaner for Fresno. I swap that around. Cam Ward is on Washington State. They don't have the run and gun offense like they used to. They're still run heavy, but they are able to put up points. And Jay Kaner on Fresno State is a dude. We all know that. He can put up points. They're 6-7 to the under, which is just under 500, or just over 500 if you're looking at it that way. but those totals were ridiculous. I remember the total for USC was 71. So this is a manageable total. It was 52 when I looked at it, but I'd take it at 52, 53, 54. I think these teams are going to be stoked to play. Both of these quarterbacks are good. Both of these offenses have scored points when they need to. And I like the total. For the side, I'm not on it. I have this game capped as a 3.5. I don't think there are super injuries with this. I don't think there's a lot of shaking and baking.
I'm going to read the injuries.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. But my index is right on what the number is. So no side for me, but I'm 100% on the over.
Okay, really quick before we get to Nick, Renard Bell, receiver, he's out. This is Wazoo's. Dayon Henley, he's out. CJ Morris been out. These are Henley's a DB. Zariah Benson, he's been out. Cooper Mathis, linebacker, he's questionable for Wazoo. And on the Fresno State side, no, like Dave said, it's not a bunch of injuries. They just got the tight end Raymond Powell's Jr., who I believe has been out. So pretty clean as far as the injuries go. Nick, take it away.
Yeah, I did get in on the over in this game. I got it at 51.5 because it did dip yesterday, and I did buy the dip and then whatever.
Shit. Nice.
I got and then I think that the best available line you can find is there's a couple 52s out there if you shop around. Power Play has a 52. Circa has a 52.
Okay,
so there are a couple 52s out there and 52.5s. I would, like Dave said, I would take this up over 54. This is a game where these, I believe, two offenses that are going to have this, entertainment game for sure. And we saw this last year with all the a lot of the early bowl games. I want to say like 9 of the first 12 early bowl games, like the first week of bowl week, soared over the total. There was 9 overs last year in the first 12 bowl games. And I'm looking a little bit more at this year as well. And this is one of those that I definitely think. Plus, Wazoo's going to be missing a few defensive pieces, which I think can help Fresno State offensively. I think they're going to be able to put up some points. I'm also looking a little bit towards Fresno in this game. I think that with the pieces that Washington State's going to be missing, we'll adjust that line a little bit because I believe I had this game indexed around that 3.5 range. But with all the injuries and the missing players on the Wazoo side, I think this should be more towards a 6, maybe a 6.5. So I do see a little bit of value here with the Fresno State Bulldogs. I don't know if I'm going to bet their spread at 4 or if I'm going to bet their team total over because I think the team total over could be an interesting look as well. But I'm going to look towards backing Fresno State some way, shape, or form. I want to see what that team total is when it comes out.
Okay, all right. I'm right there with you guys. I'm also on the over 52. I'm trying to go back really fast and look at Fresno State when they played.
Oh, yeah, I'm Pinnacle. I'm seeing 27.5 team total.
Outside of nice. I think they're averaging like 30 points a game, maybe like 30.7, closer to 31. So give me 1 second here. I got it pulled up. 30.7. I was right. 30.7. And like you said, with the injuries to some DBs at Wazoo, you're probably looking good with that. I don't like the 4. I'm weary about things like over 3 when it comes to spreads. Yep. And I think like 3 and 7 are the 2 main numbers, if I'm not mistaken. So when I get close to when I get 3.5 or 7.5 and those over, I get a little worried. I tend to think of myself as a scary bettor sometimes, which is kind of one of my bad things. Like sometimes I'm just scared to just fucking press the button. Too cautious. But with the total here, I do love going over the total. And just like Dave said, there's a bunch of, if you go back and look at Wazoo and Fresno State games, yes, Wazoo I'm looking at 51. I'm looking at 80 something in the Washington game. I'm looking at 66 in the Stanford game. So both of these teams can score. Wazoo's averaging 27 points a game and Fresno's averaging 30. Not to mention Fresno's on a 5 game, probably more, but at least a 5-game win streak. I know the competition is different, but it's not like Washington State is one of the major teams in the Pac-12. And Fresno State traditionally, even though they're a smaller school, they normally play pretty good. They normally play bigger teams. They normally fight them to the end. That's why I'm a little scared at them being a minus 4-point favorite. But I am all over the total here. I don't think Washington State is going to stop Fresno State offense. If Washington State is going to cover or win, they're going to have to either keep the pace up or outscore Fresno State. I don't see them completely shutting down his offense and dominating defensively and winning a low-scoring game against this team, because they put up points pretty much against everyone except, I know USC, they only put up 17. I think BYU.
Wasn't that the game their quarterback got hurt?
Well, when they played teams like shootout, when they played teams that they needed to go and play a shootout, like Oregon was one, and the other one was hold on, I'll look it up.
Ooh, beautiful pun.
Oregon was one, and Washington was one. Washington, they scored 33, and Oregon, they scored 41. So that those against teams that I would see, like Fresno, that are going to air the ball out. So they didn't do it versus USC, but USC was a lot better teams than both those teams. So, more
right,
in my opinion.
I mean, USC obviously has top tier talent.
Yeah,
over Fresno State.
Totally no bias there by Dave, though. Totally no bias.
No, I mean, no, I have bias. I have bias, but I'll tell you what, this season, and I told you, I haven't never had a betting season in my betting career when USC was a bet on team. They're always a fade team or don't bet.
Yeah.
And they don't deserve shit after that game.
They don't deserve. We got one more game to break down. I'm trying to get my notes together for the day, and then I'll let you guys get out of here. Appreciate you guys joining me for today. I really appreciate that. And let's cap it off with SEC big boy football, as I always say.
Surprise.
Florida Gators taking on the Pac-12, who personally, Dave, I think was the second best conference this year. Anybody that's been watching our channel over the last couple of years know I talk major shit about the Pac-12 as a conference as a whole. But this year, I personally think they were the second best conference in football. They're taking on Oregon State. The line is at -10, and the total is at 53. Let's look at a couple. Let's start with the injury report, because for some reason I always seem to just leave that out, even though it is super. Oh my God, super important. Florida, everybody's out. When I say everybody, I literally mean everybody. We got two linebackers. Bertrand Miller, he's out, undisclosed. I think he's just probably leaving or something. David Reese, he's out, transferred. Wide receiver Justin Shorter, he's questionable, undisclosed injury. Tight end Keon Zipper, he's questionable, knee injury. Offensive lineman Osiris Torrance, he's out, personal reasons. Jack Andrews, receiver, he's out, transferred. Anthony Richardson, the quarterback, downgraded to out. And personal, Rashad Torrance. Yeah, draft, right. Rashad Torrance, safety, questionable. Jack Miller III is named the starter. I believe he's the backup. Jaquavion Francis, a receiver. He's upgraded, but he's only upgraded to questionable. Xavier Henderson, another receiver, questionable, lower body. Defensive lineman Jalen Lee, out, transfer. Chief Borders, linebacker, out, transfer. Donovan McMillan, safety, out, transfer. Marcus Burke, the receiver, questionable, upper body. Yosef Mungurbo, O-lineman, he's out, also transfer. These next three guys are all questionable with upper body injuries. Cornerback Devin Moore, tight end Aurelius Bordenham, and I might butcher this name, but Ty Chiakoia Bowman, another receiver, questionable. whole host of injuries for the Florida Gators and transfers and questionables and people not out. Meanwhile, Oregon State, they're dealing with their own set of a lot of people being out. My bad. There we go. Not a whole lot, but not nearly as much as what I just said for Florida State. But we got the receiver, Trey Lowe, questionable. Chance Nolan, the quarterback, he's entered the transfer portal. Jack Colito, the backup to Chance Nolan, who's taking over, he's questionable with a hamstring. Luke Musgrove, tight end, I think he's been out for a while, but he's out indefinitely with a knee. Rajon Wright, the DB, he's out with a wrist injury. You let a wrist injury keep you out, DB? That's crazy. Must be really bad. Joe Golden, D-line, is questionable for Saturday's game against Florida as well. Dave, we'll start with you. Florida, Oregon, -10. Totals at 53. I don't think I read the actual factuals, but let's talk about it anyway.
Yeah, a couple of things. One is I feel like an old man. You just said a wrist injury because back when I played football, DBs, they'll put it in a hard cast, they'll wrap it up, and you have a club. That's what you have. And you're not going to intercept the ball, but you can still tackle people. I did every 2 years I have to do for my other job, I have to do a sexual harassment training online. I did it today. It took an hour. And every 2 years it gets worse. This was the worst year. We're doomed. Our society, the world is ending. That's all I got to say. If you have a wrist injury, it means you hurt your pussy. But anyways, the Vegas Bowl, by the way, is in Allegiant Stadium, which is an awesome place to play now. Back when I used to go to the Vegas Bowl, usually it's like the 5th or 6th team or 7th team in the Pac-10 back then. It was in where ULV played on the edge of town in a very, very high schoolish type stadium out in the cold. Like it gets cold in Vegas. Vegas is in the desert, but during December it gets in the 30s. It gets cold. Either way, it's just a different time. I had to say that, but either way, this game opened at 5. It's at a 10. Oregon State, and we said this. We were sort of on the higher side. You were really high on Oregon State.
Really high.
Yeah,
really high.
And I would say this is one of the best seasons they've had, and as far as I can remember, they've got elite DBs. They have a balanced offense. I'm just surprised at how well they did. The thing is that Oregon State isn't a big air it out type of team, and Florida was already a running team, and they lost their quarterback. So this total where did the total open at? I'm on the under, by the way. That's what I'm making official. I had a 53. I think it's even lower, but I think it's been dropping. I think it opened to 57 or 56, something like that. Makes complete sense. Oregon State is predictable at how many points they're going to score, and Florida, I don't know where the points are going to come from unless they're running the ball. So it's going to be just a run fest. So kudos to Oregon State. Florida, you had a very disappointing year. I thought you had the second best coaching transfer. I think we both agree. You, Marley and I, we were higher on Napier.
I thought it might have been the best transfer. Right.
Maybe tied for the best one. Yeah. And they did what they're supposed to do against Utah. Like we both were on Florida the first game of the season. But either way, Florida, sorry guys. Oregon State, kudos. There's no way in hell. I have Oregon State with no injuries as 2.5-point favorites on a neutral site. I'm not laying 10 points with them. I'm not getting 10 points. I'm not going to get 10 points with Florida. No side bet for me. I'm on the under.
I like it. Nick.
Yes. Looking at this one, I mean, who the hell, after all the injuries you just read off and everything for Florida, is going to go ahead and bet this team? That's probably going to be me. They're getting 10 points now, and double digit. I remember seeing this a few times where a few teams from injuries and opt-outs and NFL and all that went up to 10-point dogs last season, and a couple of them won outright in bowl games. So that doesn't really scare me as much as it may for a lot of people. Plus, you're getting double digits now. I feel like if I'm going to get to a spot in this game, maybe I'm going to wait a little bit longer because maybe more money comes in on Oregon State. And you'll probably be able to get, my guess, by the time kickoff, I'm going to shoot for a 13 in this game. I think you'll be able to get 13 points with Florida in this one, and I'm going to grab Florida at that point. But I'll probably be on Florida sometime. It'll probably be the day of. I'll be betting this play, but I'm going to probably find myself on with a Gators ticket.
We talked about this earlier, Nick, and I was saying I like the Gators too. And a lot of even though with all the injuries, right?
You're still an SEC school.
It's weird, but I still like it. And the main reason is Jake Coletto, who was the backup quarterback, he's injured.
So
he has a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
He's questionable. So I'm going to assume he's going to play. But if he doesn't play, then we're talking about what we just finished talking about in the BYU game. We're talking about a third-string quarterback going against, yes, a very injured and transfer portal-stricken Florida team. Yet and still, and maybe this is my SEC bias, but which I'm not going to lie, huge SEC bias for anybody.
You don't know, Nick. You don't know this because you haven't been on the show. We call him Mr. SEC. That's his.
I have the biggest SEC bias. I think it's the mini. I call it the mini NFL.
Yeah.
So I still think they have the better athletes, right? And just like Dave said at the beginning of the season, I mean, I was high on Napier. I mean, what he did at I almost said Louisville.
ULL.
What he did at UL Louisiana was like fucking amazing. And I thought with Anthony Richardson, which seemed like it was the perfect quarterback for this system, and with the talent they had, I thought they would have a much, much better season. Obviously, it didn't go that way. And Oregon State was another team that Dave just said I was extremely high on in the beginning of the season. And they started out well. Chris Nolan ended up getting hurt. But the main thing that drives this team, and Dave brought this up earlier, is the defense, and in particular, the DBs. They have the best DBs as a team, to me, in the Pac-12, and probably could compete in the nation.
In the country, top five, for sure.
I took the words right out of my mouth. Definitely top five. So that kind of scares me a little bit. It's scaring me off the side too, but it definitely puts me with what's his name again? I almost said Boletti, but that's not it. Coletto. With Coletto being questionable, I don't know if he's going to play or not. I like to assume he is. It takes me on the under because we're going to be looking at a third-string quarterback, a backup quarterback for Florida because Richardson isn't playing. So what are we going to get offensively from either one of these teams, with Oregon State being one of the better defensive teams, not only in the Pac-12, but definitely, like we just mentioned a while ago, in the country. So in my opinion, we definitely got to lean under the total here at 53. So I'm right there with Dave. I'm all over this under. Even if Boletti does play, like I said, we're still talking about an SEC with supreme talent. Now, maybe that talent doesn't necessarily show up, but I think they can show up enough to probably hold Oregon State. Oregon State's only averaging 32. Well, not only averaging 32, but they're averaging 32. Let's just say we bring that down to 25. One touchdown, well, a little bit more than a touchdown, but I mean a little bit less than a touchdown.
Well, even if it's 30-22, like or 30-21, even if they score around what they're scoring, Florida has their two running back. All they're going to do is run the ball. So you're right. I mean, you're right on. Like you're right on hit the nail on the head.
And I don't think they get 30. I think they get closer to 28. Maybe 27, 2 field goals.
If you like that, I have a decent play for you. Depending on your book, I'm seeing 30.5s and 31s. You can take Oregon State's team total under. They're a big favorite, and we like the total under. So generally, I like looking at this when I look at hockey and I like an under, and I think that an underdog is live. I'll look at the team total under for the favorite because usually that's a bigger inflated number, especially on a high total. I mean, if we think this is way too high, 53. I think that the team total under for Oregon State's a decent look, especially if we think they're going to run the ball a lot.
I do. What is Florida's team total? Just curiosity.
Florida team total is going to be way lower because they're a dog. It is on Penny 21.5 plus 119 to the over, minus 140 to the under. So probably 20. Call it a 21.
I like that. I like the 30. Was it 31 for Oregon State?
Yeah, 30.5, 31 is where you're going to be looking for them.
Obviously, 31.
I think it gets close. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like a way under. But I just don't see where Oregon State can score points. I don't know where it's going to come from for Florida. I mean, they're going to run the ball. And I mean, what are they going to run for 300 yards and score 5 touchdowns? I mean, like, I don't know.
Well, what's Oregon State's defense do running the ball?
Well, they're better on pass defense, but I mean they're a good
they're giving up 114 yards. They're not bad. They're giving up 114 yards a game. So
that's got to be in the middle of the pack.
They're 20th in defensive rushing yards allowed with the 114. They're
there you go.
So they're more built to stop the run. So yeah, that's making me like the under even more. I don't know if I'll bet either, but it's Florida and under for me.
Yeah, I'm on it.
I'm definitely betting it. I'm all over it. Nick, I got you on the plus 10, right? Was that an official play?
Not yet. No. I'm gonna wait for that line to go up more. I think that kickoff, I'll be able to get 13. That's my guess.
Gotcha. All right, man. That wraps up the show very quick. Well, we went over an hour, so it's like our typical show. Anything you guys want to talk about? Anything that happened in the sports world? Any other bets that you got that you want to throw out there? Won't make nothing official since we didn't actually break down the game. But any other looks over the weekend of games that we didn't cover that you guys may have plays on or may not?
We can keep it with bowls. I'll tell you where I'm at with. I mean, I didn't realize how these first 12 bowls I'd have so many picks. It's almost one in every game.
Bowl games I'll give out plays for.
Yeah. Miami of Ohio, I like them getting point. I mean, getting points. The both teams are rush heavy. I mean, one of the best running backs in the country is McBride for UAB. But the problem is UAB. They've covered big spreads, but they've only done it at home, and this is on a neutral field. And 10.5 is just too much. I think Miami of Ohio's getting no respect. So I'm on them. No respect. Rodney Dangerfield. Rice made a bowl game because they're a 5-7 team. They made it for some weird academic loophole against Southern Miss.
Wait, can you explain that to me? I've never heard of this rule.
Okay, Nick, go ahead.
I'll get the article back up. But yeah.
Okay, I'll give you. Do that, and I'll give you. So basically, there was room for more teams or another team to play in a bowl game. So they were made eligible because of some team academics, which to me is totally horrible. So I have in Mississippi State, they're laying 6.5. I have them as 9-point favorites. I think they rout Rice. That's just silly.
What game is this? Wait.
This is the Lending Tree Bowl in Mobile, Alabama.
Yep. And looking at it here, the specific thing is the remaining spot. There was a couple of teams that there were not enough bowl eligible teams. I think there was 1 or 2 spots remaining. One of them went to I want to say New Mexico State when they played and blew out some Division II school in the last week on an added game. And then there was Rice, who got the remaining they got it for they had the highest APR, which is the academic progress rate, a metric that measures the academic performance of a school's student athletes.
I'm all about being smart.
They were the highest APR of any 5-win team, and they were aligned for a bowl game. I love that because at the end of the day, and I mentioned this part of the show we did.
Yeah,
I love that because at the end of the day, these are still college students. Yeah, they play football. These are still college students we're talking about, and I think it's awesome what they did there.
But if you're a sports bettor, that's why Harvard and Yale and all these teams, they aren't as good as Alabama. And I mean, I'm all about my show's Nerd Talk. I'm all about the smartsy part of betting. But Southern Miss is awful. They screwed me one game this year. I didn't bet them again. They're going to rout them. I mean, they're going to win by 10 point double digits. Anyway, And then the last game is that I like is Marshall and UConn. UConn making their first bowl in whoever the fuck knows how long. They're going to be all hyped up, Myrtle Beach Bowl and Conway, South Carolina.
Right.
But I have Marshall as a 15-point favorite. I'll lay double digits. Here's why. UConn only rushes the ball. They throw for 101 yards per game. It's fifth worst. All they do, they're one-trick pony. And Marshall's really, really good against the run, and they run the ball too, and they're semi-decent at throwing the ball. So these are my two big favorite. And anyone that knows you, Marley, you knows this. Nick knows this. I'm not a big favorite lay chalk type of guy. Lay 2 touchdowns with Marshall against UConn.
Really? What do you think about? Do you know the total on that game? What's the under? What's the total looking like?
It's 41.
41.
I think it's like 35-7 or 28-7, something like that, or 28-10.
Let's say sounds like an underplay. I didn't cap that game.
It's an underplay with the team blowing the other team out. I mean that's my take on it. And what it'll probably end up being is a close game and be like 70 points. But anyway,
right. Nick, you got anything?
Yeah, I got a couple that we didn't go over. I have 4 different bowls we didn't go over that I have looks in. I will talk about that Rice game. I did not take a side in this one. I did take the total. I took it over 45.5. Rice's defense is horrible, and I believe Southern Miss will be able to put up points against them here. Let me get up my numbers for this one here because Rice gives up what was it? 33.8 points per game, which was 119th in the nation, but they put up 25.3, which is 85th. So they were able to put up some points during this season. And on the other side, Southern Miss, 24.2 points per game, and they gave up 23.5. They went over in 4 of their last 5 games, and those totals were around this total right here at 45.5 is what I got it at. And I believe Southern Miss is going to be able to shred Rice's defense apart. I think that they put up at least 30 points, and I'm going to ask for a couple touchdowns from Rice, which I think can happen because Rice's offense is not terrible. They average 25.3 points per game, so that I'll ask for just a couple touchdowns from Rice. So Southern Miss and Rice over the total. If I'm not mistaken, actually. Oh no, the Southern Miss was Fun Belt.
Rice is also starting a freshman quarterback as first or second game, AJ Paget. So it's enough, and Southern Miss has been riding with their backup for 4 or 5 with a few games, but it's another stab for Rice. I'm just laying it on.
Hey Nick, do you still have the lines up? Because I'm kind of curious about what's that Southern Miss team total.
Southern Miss team total. That may be something I jump on as well. Let me find this right here. Southern Miss. There we go. This total has gone up to no, it's still 45 and some. Sometimes BetStamp tells me different because
it's 28.5.
Yeah, Proline Plus likes to give out or plus money on totals, so their totals pop out and it shows that the total's higher than it actually is. Yeah, I'm seeing 27.5 on Penny plus 120 the over, minus 140 to the under. I definitely don't mind that. I think they put up 30 points in this game against that Rice defense. So yeah, I don't mind that at all. I will touch. I'm on Marshall as well, minus 10 against UConn. It's great and all that UConn made a bowl game, but this is a terrible stylistic matchup for them, and I don't know if UConn scores a point in this game. To be completely honest. Definitely UConn. I mean, this is a low-ass total and it's a big spread, so I don't want to take a team total under here in this game, but UConn team total is a 14.5, and I would take that under. I think they maybe get 10 points. 14.5 for UConn. But yeah. And then the final one was I'm taking Eastern Michigan plus the 3.5 points. There wasn't many injuries or anything along those lines with players missing, and I had this game at a 1.5 for San Jose State. So I think that getting 3.5 points with EMU is definitely something I'm interested in. So I did bet that. And then I grabbed Western Kentucky, South Alabama over as well.
I know you know that they're San Jose, so I'm just gonna assume
he did that because our show last night we kept on calling him San Jose State because we were just fucking around. But yeah, anyway.
No, I love it. All right, let's do a quick recap before we get out of here for the night. Hopefully, I'm gonna talk to Dave. Maybe I'll get you guys on. Hopefully, I can get you guys on next week, and we'll do a couple of bowl games that's going on later on in the week. But as of right now, and guys, let me know if I'm missing anything or if I got anything wrong. For Dave, I got Cincy +2, SMU minus the 3.5. First half also. That should have been 2.5. I'll fix that.
Yeah, it's 2.5, 3.5. Yep.
Right, I'll fix that. First half 2.5. Washington State, Fresno State over 52. I don't know why. Did I write? Oh, Oregon. I thought I was just looking at Oregon. Oregon State in Florida under 53. For my man Nick here, we got UTSA over 57. SMU first half 2.5 and full game minus 3.5. Washington State, Fresno State over 52. And for some reason, I don't think I put the. Did you have a play on the Oregon State game?
No, I did not make one official because I'm waiting for a better line. That's kind of where I was going with that one there.
Cool. And for myself, I'm on UTSA money line, Cincy +2, SMU full game minus 3.5. First half also 2.5 minus 2.5. Washington State, Fresno State. I wrote over, but that should be an under, right? No, over 52. That's right, over 52. Yeah. And then the Oregon State, Florida. I'm also on the under at 53. I'm sorry. Nick, tell the people where they can find you at.
Yeah, I do a show every single morning, anywhere from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel, Earl Sports Bets, the Earl Sports Bets Show, with me and my brother. We break down basically everything. I think the only thing we don't break down every game is obviously college football on Saturdays. We didn't break down the entire 6 a.m. slate, and then we don't break down college basketball. But we do answer questions on those games. We break down every hockey game, every NBA game, NFL games, things on baseball when that season's around. So you can catch me there every single morning anywhere between 10 and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Aren't you on Wager Talk too, or you didn't want to plug that?
Not that site. I'm on Picks and Parlays.
I'm sorry. Picks and Parlays.
Or EarlSportsBets.com.
But more importantly, Earl Sports Bets.
EarlSportsBets.com, most importantly.
That's the one you guys need to follow.
Yes.
We got a couple of comments that for some
Don
reason
Playa.
What's up, Don Play? I'm going to look back. I appreciate that. I think he put Mary, David, Earl, but I think he meant obviously.
You're Mary now. You're
I
that.
guess so, right?
You're the Hobbit from fucking the movies.
Here's my wedding ring right here.
Yeah, there you go, boy.
Okay, he corrected himself. Marley. My bad. I don't know why I didn't see that earlier, or did you just post that? Either way.
He just hopped in right now. Yeah.
Appreciate you, Don. It's been a little slow in the comments because we haven't been as consistent, but normally our videos get more plays. So also, Dave, tell the people where they can find you at.
Yeah, and to talk about that, this is a type of video YouTube's putting lives. They're not putting it, and I don't think people realize this. A month ago, they stopped putting live plays when you go to your page, you have to go to the live tab. It doesn't put them with your pick plays. So people, yeah. So it's causing a big problem. You have to remind people, but this is something you want to go back and watch. Obviously because it's not like the next day or a live show. You have a whole week to do it. But anyways, Picks from Dave on YouTube. I have a channel. I do pick videos every night. I do Nerd Talk every once in a while, but we do Nerd and the Turd every Friday. That's me and Hammer Poop. On Friday nights.
Nerd and the Turd.
Nerd and the Turd. Well, I'm the nerd. I'm more of a traditional bottom-up nerdy handicapper. He's more of a find the most stinky bet on the thing. He liked the Seahawks tonight, and he likes the Colts versus Minnesota, which is crazy. He talked me off that game.
Actually, not that crazy.
Well, anyways, he's a winning handicapper with his style. But anyway, that's every Friday night. And I also on Twitter, I'm Picks from Dave there. And I give out free plays every night, and I'm in the chat in a bunch of different places on Earl Sports Bets and Picks and Parlays and Pub Sports Radio, causing problems. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys.
All right, appreciate you guys. For sure, I would like to have you guys on sometime next week. I'll DM you guys the games that I want to go over, and like I said, it's all a follow for people, for Don and the people that will watch this later. We're definitely going to get back in Brothers and Bets. Me and Coach have been talking. We got a lot of things coming. Actually, me and my wife is going to start a show beginning of the year next year. It's going to be sports and sports gossip, I guess, is going to be her angle. And then we got a new thing coming also. It's called The Best There Never Was which is going to be about guys that were projected to do great things in maybe the league, or they had a great high school, college career, and for whatever reason they flamed out and it didn't work out. So we got a couple candidates.
I love that. That's great.
So guys who were good in college but never like
Ryan Leaf.
Like Ryan Leaf would be a great example.
Jamarcus Russell. Yeah,
I don't know Ryan Leaf, so he
Jamarcus Russell. Yeah, Sam Bradford, Colt McCoy. Yeah,
exactly. So those guys and things like that. We're obviously going to start local here in Houston because I got kind of more connects that way. But if it blows up or it does good and I can get better people, so to speak, like a Ryan Leaf or Jamarcus Russell, but that's definitely the view. Think of I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show, but Unsung, which is mostly okay. So Unsung is like a music show that was on, I can't remember the channel, but it was about pretty much music groups or rappers and R&B groups that were like maybe had one hits or they were projected to be good, and for whatever reason
like a Vanilla
they
Ice,
didn't blow up. So that's kind of the theme we're going to go for. It. We'll start that at the beginning of next year, 2023. So there's a couple things that we got coming on, and obviously we're going to dive deep into college basketball is coming up, and we're going to start doing the NBA shows, which is what I'm going to do because Coach doesn't really do NFL, so I'll need a partner actually for that. But I definitely appreciate you guys for coming out. Love the content. Anybody that sees this later, please go follow Earl Sports Bets. Also go follow my guy, Picks from Dave. They give great content. They answer questions, so hit them up on Twitter. Jump in their DMs. Don't be shy. They're really cool guys. So I appreciate everybody who's going to see this later. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Appreciate you guys for coming on to the show. And of course, I got to hit us with my, we call it the prayer. So as we go, I'm going to try to do, it's been a while, but let me see.
Let's do it.
Oh,
you right off the bat.
That is Mr. Nick Earl from Earl Sports and Bets. And just below me right here, that's the homie Picks from Dave from Picks and Dave. And of course, I am Marley Betts. And this is Brothers in Bets. May the odds forever be in your favor. And like yesterday, like today, and of course, like tomorrow, y'all already know what it is, man. Let's beat Vegas. And guess what? We out this motherfucker.
Check it out. Look, we from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays.